a wide, green meadow where the sun warmed the earth and wildflowers painted the landscape in vibrant colors, lived a little grasshopper named Geo. Geo was no ordinary grasshopper. He could jump higher, leap farther, and most importantly, chirp louder than anyone else in the entire meadow. His song was his pride and joy, a constant melody that filled the air from the moment the sun peeked over the horizon until the stars twinkled in the night sky. He was a whirlwind of energy, a tiny green maestro conducting an endless symphony, with himself as the only musician. Every morning, Geo would climb to the top of the tallest blade of grass, take a deep breath, and begin his performance. Chirp, chirp, chirp. His music was lively and full of zest, bouncing off dewdrops and echoing through the clover patches. He chirped about the warmth of the sun, the blueness of the sky, and the delicious taste of fresh leaves. He was so wrapped up in creating his own soundtrack that he rarely noticed the world around him. His friends would often try to get his attention, but Geo was always in his own musical bubble. Geo, buzzed Beatrice the bee as she flitted past, her legs heavy with golden pollen. We're trying to gather nectar, and your loud chirps make it hard to concentrate. Geo, old friend, he called out, we're having our family picnic. It's a bit hard to hear each other over your concert. The whole plant shuddered, and the delicate web tore, a gaping hole ruining the spider's hard work. Silas looked at his ruined creation, his many eyes filled with sadness. The meadow, once a place of bustling but harmonious activity, was slowly growing tired of Geo's constant noise. The other insects started to avoid him. They would see him coming and quickly scurry under leaves or fly to the other side of the meadow. Geo, however, didn't seem to notice. He just thought everyone was busy, and he continued to chirp his heart out, his song now echoing in a strangely empty space. One sunny afternoon, the meadow entered its quietest hour. This was a special time, a tradition as old as the meadow itself, when everyone would rest. The bees would stop their buzzing and nap inside flowers. The ladybugs would cuddle together under shady leaves, and the spiders would gently mend their webs. It was a time for peace, a collective sigh of contentment across the land. and fell right through it, tearing an even bigger hole than before. The air, once filled with his music, was now thick with an unhappy, heavy silence. No one said a word. The bees just hovered angrily. The ladybugs gathered their scattered children with annoyed clicks. And Silas slowly climbed back up his plant, not even bothering to look at Geo. The silence was louder than any chirp Geo had ever made. For the first time in his life, Geo felt a pang of something he'd never experienced before, regret. He looked around at the upset faces of his friends, at the quiet chaos he had caused. His chirping, which had always brought him so much joy, had made everyone else miserable. He felt a lump in his throat, and for the first time, he had no song to sing. The silence from the meadow was reflected inside him. He felt terribly, utterly alone. With his shoulders slumped, Geo hopped off his stone stage and found a secluded spot under a large fern. He sat down, something he rarely did unless he was sleeping. He didn't jump, he didn't move, he didn't make a sound. And as he sat there in his self-imposed quiet, something magical began to happen. He started to listen, truly listen. At first, all he could hear was the pounding of his own little heart. But then, as he quieted his mind, other sounds began to filter in. He heard the soft, gentle hum of the wildflowers as they turned their faces toward the sun. He heard the whisper of the wind as it danced through the tall grasses. He heard the faint, rhythmic buzz of Beatrice the bee, not angry now, but a calm, steady sound as she worked. He heard the quiet munching of caterpillars on a distant leaf and the delicate footsteps of an ant colony marching in a line. He heard the meadow's own music. It wasn't loud or boastful like his had been. It was a complex and beautiful symphony, made up of 1,000 tiny sounds all working together. It was a music of purpose, of life, of harmony. Each creature, each plant, had its own part to play, and together, they created something wonderful. Geo sat there for a long time, just listening. He learned the rhythm of the resting hour and the busy hum of the morning nectar rush. He learned to distinguish the happy chatter of the ladybugs from the focused silence of Silas weaving his web. He was discovering a whole new world, a world that had been there all along, hidden beneath his own loud music. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the meadow, Geo felt a familiar urge to chirp, but this time, it was different. He listened first, feeling the gentle, sleepy rhythm of the evening settling in. He heard the crickets beginning their nightly chorus, a soft, soothing melody. Taking a deep breath, Geo let out a small, quiet chirp. It wasn't a demand for attention. It was a question. It was an offering. One of the crickets chirped back, a friendly invitation. Geo chirped again, a little softer this time, blending his note with theirs. Soon, he was part of their song. His voice no longer a solo performance, but a beautiful harmony within the larger orchestra of the night. His music didn't overwhelm the silence. It decorated it. From that day on, Geo was a changed grasshopper. He still loved to sing, and his music was as joyful as ever, but now he knew when to sing and, just as importantly, when to listen. He would join the morning buzz with a cheerful but gentle tune. He would offer a soft, rhythmic chirp to help the ants keep their marching pace. And during the quiet resting hour, he would sit in contented silence, simply enjoying the peaceful music of the meadow. He learned that listening doesn't stop the music, it makes it more beautiful. Harmony, he discovered, wasn't about being the loudest voice, but about finding your place within the chorus. And Geo the grasshopper, once the loudest noisemaker in the meadow, finally found his true voice, not by shouting over everyone else, but by becoming a part of the meadow's peaceful, wonderful rhythm. His song was now a gift, and the whole meadow was richer for it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed Geo's story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more wonderful tales. See you next time.